why is digital marketing important for small and medium businesses?
Why is digital marketing important? Right, okay. Let me put it like this. One of the most important factors that lead to the success of any small to medium business is a regular flow of new inquiries, new business, and regular cash flow that comes through those leads and inquiries. Now, as a business, if you don't really have that, which is your regular incoming, your expenses don't stop. Your expenses are always there as a small to medium enterprise. So the priority for the directors, the leaders, or the business owners right now is what? To go out and generate more business. And guess what happens right after that? You have to go fulfill it as well, because as a small business, you are sort of doing too many things at the same time. Sales is one of them.
You're playing catch up essentially.
Essentially, you're playing catch up with everything you're doing, because end of the day, if your servicing is not good, your fulfillment is not good, if you bring in new clients, that spreads the wrong word in the market very, very soon, and you've got bad reviews, and suddenly the business is going down. So essentially for the business owners, the biggest challenge is to actually maintain that balance, right? It's reputation as well as bringing in new client. You could be the best company in the world, but if you don't have clients coming in, if you don't have new business coming in, you're not going to survive, because your expenses don't stop essentially. Your expenses keep on happening, right? Now, one of the biggest things is with digital marketing that this gets you best return on investment. So there's nearly 3.2 billion searches made on Google every single day, right?
Is that all?
You know, it's that huge, right? And that's just in Australia. Now, out of those 3.2 billion searches, guess how many are for your business? And that's the question to ask, right? And if your business is, let's say, for example, a mobile service like dent repair guys, like, you know, mobile mechanics, like, you know, people who are actually not servicing on one spot, they've essentially got how much can you travel. That's the area, right? So if you can travel 30 kilometers, we can pull a 30 kilometers radius and target everyone in that area for your products and services. Now with digital marketing, obviously there's a lot of, you know, different areas, different channels that you can, you know, use to attract, you know, new business. There's social media marketing, there's, you know, pay-per-click advertising, then there's, you know, SEO, then there's your local listings and things like that. Now, one of the main things that you have, hang on, let me just actually get rid of this one. One of the main things that you have to understand is that you cannot, as a small business, you cannot afford to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars and just say, you know, throw spaghetti to the wall and see what sticks, right?
Obviously, it's not worth it, because you're just throwing money down the drain, essentially.
That's right, because one of the main things for a small business is you've got limited cash flow, you got to get the return, and then you got to pay attention to make sure that it's actually getting fulfilled as well.
You want to make sure that every penny is making the biggest buck.
What's your return on every dollar that you're spending? Now, the beauty about digital marketing is not only you can measure what the return on every dollar is, but you can also preempt it. When I say about preempting it, you can only spend the money where you know that people are already looking. So for example, if you were to go for a SEO campaign, let's not even get into the details of social media marketing, right? Because it gets a little bit harder in terms of, you know, targeting and things like that when we actually talk about it. Let's just talk about basic SEO. In an SEO campaign, you can actually select a keyword that people are already typing in. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you're a mobile mechanic, you can actually type in to Google and find out if a keyword mobile mechanic Brighton is getting any search results or not, or it's getting any search volume or not. What that means is, are there people actually looking for that keyword already or not? So you're not just sort of, you know, going out and spending the money and see what return you get. Is you're, you know, spending the money based on data.
Yeah.
Right?
Because obviously you want to make sure that the facts are there before you invest.
Of course, right? And if there's volume, you're investing in that keyword, people see you on Google that you're ranking on page 1 if your SEO does work, and obviously you're going to get traction if you're doing it properly, right?
Yeah.
So it's not about, cash flow is the king in a small business, right? You have to generate enough of that on a regular basis for you to, you know, scale the business as well. And that comes from getting the maximum return on the investment that you make on your marketing. Gone are the days for radio, TV. It does work, but it works on a large scale. One ad on at, you know, let's say 12 o'clock at night or 11:30 at night is not going to get you the traction. If you want to use those, you know, traditional marketing channels, you have to do it, you know, on a bigger budget, and they do work.
But even so, everyone uses Spotify, streaming services, YouTube, and that's where it's kind of transformed.
And that's what, yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really exist. Something like Netflix. Netflix doesn't have any pre-roll ads because you pay for that premium.
I put it like this, right? Netflix killed cable TV. iPhone killed Nokia, right, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And this will keep on happening. So if you yourself as a business don't take advantage of the opportunity that's out there, when Facebook came out, I was like, man, this is holy grail, right? Free advertising. I can talk to as many people as I want, anytime I want. I'm not paying anything for it.
Yeah.
Let's load it up. Instagram, you can push out as much advertisement as you can. It's all for free. And people spend hours and hours on these channels right now.
Yeah.
How many of those are your potential clients?
Yeah.
Those are the sort of things we need to you sit down and really as a small business try to work out. Where are you spending the money at the moment? Because if you're not doing digital marketing, your business will suffer because that's where people are at the moment looking for your services and they're active buyers.
Well, even I believe it's the average Australian spends 6 hours a day on their phones.
That's right.
So it doesn't seem like much sense.
That's right. That's right. And that's just social media marketing. You've still got your pay-per-click advertising. You've still got your other modes of advertising on that you can, spend the money on and get the maximum return. And in saying that, as a small business, digital marketing is the only way right now, how I see it, to actually generate that traction. Why? Because you go to newspaper, you don't get the response. We've got some clients who spend nearly $3,000 on newspapers and got 3 calls. They spend $1,000 a month with us and they get over 192 calls. Which one's, the best return?
Yeah.
Right? So essentially, this is why digital marketing is one of the most important things a small business needs to focus on. And one of the main things is that you have to get it right as well. You have to understand how it works. If you don't know it, go sit down with a SEO company, go sit down with a social media marketing agent or freelancer or whoever you've got to actually do that for you and sit down and try and understand what they're doing exactly. Where's the money going? Who is the target audience? Who are you targeting? And 1 second, sorry. Yeah, so you really need to try and identify exactly what processes are put in place, what those clients or that company is doing for you. Because if you don't understand that, essentially you're doing the same thing. You're just flooding down the money, down the drain and try to hope, or hoping to get some traction out of it, right? But one of the most important things is, does your SEO company or does your social media marketing or PPC advertising company understand what you want to target as well? Do they understand your, let me just actually put it on silent. Okay, perfect. Do they really understand who your audience is? Do they understand who your actual user is? Are they actually spending the money in the right direction? Do they understand what your next 5 years goal is, for example?
Well, this seems like very much everything that should be discussed at the start of a project. So if not getting it right from the start, it seems like it's all going to be wrong.
Of course, look, if you're not actually doing that, sort of knowledge transfer in the start, obviously they're not going to understand what to target. One of the brightest kids with no knowledge is not going to be as bright as someone who's got partial knowledge, right? And if you spend those enough hours in the start and try to work out exactly who your audience is, exactly what processes need to put in place to be able to target them or what channels to take to target them, because channel actually changes the type of audience as well. On Facebook, there's a certain type of audience. On Instagram, there's another type of audience. And on, for example, YouTube, there's completely different type of audience. So your channel changes. You have to do those things in the start. Try to identify what's the best, channel for your business, for the audience you're trying to target. But also on there's a thing called iterative marketing. What it is that you're putting iterations in place based on the findings that you're recording on a monthly basis. So for example, you create a new landing page, you run some PPC campaign on it, you go and you observe what part of the page people are spending the most time on, where they're leaving from, what buttons they're clicking on. And if you're not doing that on a monthly basis and iterating and growing how your campaign works and operates, it's never going to produce the sort of results you wish to produce. And one of the main things about this is also you don't just want to produce good results, but you always want to keep on improving on a monthly basis. And how will that happen? That will happen by observing what's happening and trying new things and finding out what's working. Okay, let's stick with that. Can we scale it? Yes or no, based on what your your client says, or what you decide. And also always keep on growing the formula that you've created. So at the end of the day, you as a small business has to be in a sort of state where with a phone call, you're able to say, okay, turn the tap on, leads come through, turn the tap off, right? That's the best state you can be in, right? Because sometimes you also want to go easy a little bit, because if you're getting too many leads and you don't have the fulfillment, you might get overwhelmed, right? And that's what we really observed, we've observed in the past as well. For small to medium enterprises, the first 3 months are very, very important. Within the first 3 months, we have to make sure that they start getting the traction, so they understand that this is working for them. And once they've started getting the traction, we actually sit down with them again after the first 3 months and try to work out, okay, this channel is working really good for you. For example, social media marketing. Do you want to scale now? What's your back end process of the business? How is that working? How are you coping with the leads and inquiries? How many of those are actually converting and getting in new sales? There could be we could be giving them 5 leads a day, and end of the day they're only converting 1. We need to know why.